Started. Waiting for the YouTube thing to load. Oh, I see excellent connection. I see something. Did it work though? Is there a video there? It's loading. I see excellent connection. Brian, talk. I see something.
Words again.
Did it work though? Is there a video there? It's loading.
YouTube.
I see excellent.
Philanthropy.
Brian, talk.
Shawarma.
Okay, works.
Yugoslavia. Physics IAs.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right. I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
What is up, all you gals and gamers and coronavirus
Survivors.
survivors? Welcome back to the third episode. Really should be like the 8th episode, but we got lazy. Of the Corona Cast. I think that's what we call it. That or the couch. I don't know. Couches have a connotation. I'm in a chair. Once again, I'm your boy on the mic, MC Bryman225 himself, joined by my co-host and technical specialist, Maximus the Main Man Whitaker, and we're coming at you live, I think, maybe a 10-second delay, with some topics. Our discussion today, we're going to start out by talking about school so far, which is better to talk about now, because last time we talked about school, it was like a month in. Now we're like nearing the end.
Yeah, so definitely a lot more
better.
A lot more information to talk about than last time.
Especially since I've remained virtual. Max has gone back in person.
I'm in person. Definitely changed. Yeah, TV points now, both sides.
So comment on that. How was the shift?
Personally, it's better for me to learn. It's a lot harder to learn than online because you're staring at a screen all day, so you can't really focus. Opposed to being in person, where the traditional school system kicks in, right? You're literally forced to pay attention, otherwise you're gonna get ridiculed if you fall asleep or not pay attention. You know? So yeah, it works, but at the cost of morals and stuff. But that's for another time about talking about psychology. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I think it's better. I definitely can talk to people now too in person.
That's a benefit. That's a social benefit. Yeah.
Discord.
But definitely learning online is not learning at all. It's just completion. Everything's a glorified completion grade now.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Especially with IB exams being canceled too. Now,
especially with IB exams being canceled.
I think most IB seniors are just checking out at this point, which kind of sucks.
If they haven't checked out already.
That's a good point to add.
Because once those IAs are done, they really got nothing.
Yeah. How much you got left? How many you got left? Do you have 1, 2?
Got the physics IA. I got the CSIA.
Oh, CSIA. And then Spanish, right?
I failed the Spanish roll today. We're done with that.
Oh, no. Mine's next week.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
What else? Because history's done. English is done.
Yeah.
TOK and EE are done. Math was done. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we're nearing the end here.
Yeah, so basically, after I do my my physics IA on buckets and my CSIA on Shrek, we're good.
Define buckets and Shrek. Let's go more into that.
Okay, so initially, I want to do my physics IA on like populating Mars and whether that mass would be drastic enough to affect
That sounds like a pretty good topic.
Affect orbit. He said that's dumb. But he didn't say that was dumb until yesterday afternoon when I emailed him 3 times.
Nice.
So he never even looked at the topics I submitted.
Okay.
So that was helpful.
Yeah.
So then I looked at like the list of 300 topics he had, and there's a lot of stuff like water and just like draining things. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, what shape is best to drain a bucket? And since it's a higher level course, but it's still all done in algebra, I can get complexity points by using calculus to like model the draining of water.
Dabble in a little calculus to make it look nice. Yeah.
So I'm going to get a bucket and we'll cut like different shapes of like equal area, and then like see like if the shape orientation affects the drain rate of the bucket.
Interesting.
And then CSIA
about Shrek.
I'm making a soundboard.
Okay.
Of Shrek sounds.
That can also be used
the worst
practically.
Experience I've ever had in computer science.
Why do you have to like? Why is it?
Because we have never learned how to use audio. Like we barely learned how to make like.
That's not good to hear. Okay.
People still can't make like a clickable screen, and I'm doing that and audio at the same time,
Oh
while
god.
also trying to package it as like an application and not just like something you run in the IDE.
Yeah.
So none of it's good. And he's just taking off points and not explaining what I'm losing points for.
That's always fun.
So it's a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds kind of really sucky.
I'm doing podcast right now. Can you come back later? All right. Brief interruption from the fans.
Hey, your brother, I think.
My brother. He's a fan. He's the one watcher. He's the viewer. Respect that.
He's the. All right. Respect the grind.
And then so yeah, I'm just glad Spanish is over.
Yeah. How was that? Was it hard? Up to your expectations?
Listen, she said I did a good job, but it was the most disappointed good job I've ever heard in my life.
Like a complimentary good job. Like she's got to say it after every
You
IA.
did a good job. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go jump off a bridge. Thank you.
My god. Okay, that's not good.
Because like, you pick your picture or whatever, it has to do with like, one of the 5 themes.
Yeah.
And I'm more comfortable with like, the technology
Yeah.
and like the environment.
That makes sense.
That's like the stuff I've spent the most time in.
Yeah.
If I got culture,
Yeah, that makes sense.
the technology, right? And I'm talking about like what's going on in the picture. I'm not gonna go into detail because I'm not gonna like spoil what's on the pictures or whatever. I'm talking about the picture, technology, the theme, whatever. And like I talked for like a okay amount of time. And then we get to the question part, and she keeps doing this thing where she's like at her like desk, and the smart board's in front of her, like the camera and the microphone are on the smart board. So like the audio already isn't good.
Yeah.
Like I hear myself echoing, so I think she's telling me to stop, but it's just me. And then when she gets to the questions, she keeps doing this maneuver where she puts her hand, her head in her hand,
her mouth.
starts talking into her hand, and I can't hear her.
You can't ask.
But if you ask her to repeat herself too many times, they think you're stupid.
Yeah.
So at some point, I just start answering the questions I think she would have asked, and hoping I like cover her questions somewhere in there, because I had no idea what she said. Because she asked me about like one of the other themes, and I'm like, yeah. And then my phone rings. In the middle of the oral because work's calling me, and like I had clicked like the down volume button, but I guess since the phone wasn't actually on, it didn't register any of that. So it is full blast JoJo opening in my microphone for my Spanish oral.
Oh no.
So then I'm like, excusame, mi telefono. I hang up, I throw it across my room to the bed, and I'm like, ahora voy a hablar. And I just keep talking, and it's bad. And then Nathan's is right after mine, and then he comes back in the Discord call. He's like, no.
Typical Nathan move. Nathan move.
No. And we're like, Nathan, how was it? He's like, no.
Typical Nathan move.
Apparently, he's trying to fix his camera angle before doing it, and he broke his camera. He dropped his camera, it wouldn't turn on. Broke. And then he's not good at Spanish. Like, he does not speak Spanish at all. So his was like worse than mine. And I thought I set the bar pretty low.
From what I've heard, you're a pretty avid speaker, though. What I've heard.
People have said like I sound like I could be Latino, but that's when I don't need to think of the words while I'm saying the words.
So essentially, when you're trying to speak,
making stuff up on the spot slows me down to where my mouth is talking faster than my brain is going.
And then gibberish comes out.
Yeah, because like Emma is really good at like writing Spanish and like doing actual Spanish, but like we both like her pronunciation isn't as good as it could be.
Yeah,
that's like one of her main complaint is like I suck at pronouncing things.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh well. And then me, I can talk with the accent. I can roll my R's. I can say things in like a Latino sounding accent. But like when it comes to like actually performing like Spanish,
yeah, that makes sense.
And I've been learning it for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And elementary school and all that. So it doesn't stick. And of course, online, I haven't actually learned Spanish in like a year. It's just been her yelling at me in Spanish.
Yeah, honestly, online Spanish has been just basically bookwork and assignments.
Yeah.
Here and there, trying to review for the exam opposed to actually. Yeah. But yeah.
But I'm glad that's done. She still wants us to do work though, which is kind of annoying because there's nothing to prepare for. I understand the desire to have like evidence to show
IB something.
that like your scores aren't like high enough. Like our English class, we're still doing paper 1 practice just to have evidence that we know how to write a paper 1.
Same here.
But like with Spanish, it's like it's just busy work. We're just doing book activities doesn't prove that I can speak Spanish better than I did in my oral. So what's it matter?
Yeah, and also I don't think she's gonna want to send it to IBO either. So,
It's just
at this point, you just gotta kind of roll with it, you know.
yeah. At this point, I'm just like I was calculating grade. Yeah, like it's bad when like you start calculating grades like really to the number.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I either failed or I scraped by with a diploma.
Huh?
There's no like, yeah, I got a 6 or a 7. I don't know. She said like, oh yeah, I want you to give a performance worthy of a 6 or a 7. And I'm like, 6 out of 30 on the scale.
Nice.
The best I can hope for right now. It's a 2.
Oh,
A
God.
2 gets you a diploma. If you offset it with everything else, you get 2.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just banking on bio and physics right now. IB exams.
Well, physics has actually gotten more fun now that we're not doing,
now that we're actually doing
anymore.
Practical engineering.
Because
cool.
I have like.
Have you have an Arduino?
I have an Arduino set because my brother did like an engineering class. I got like the breadboard, the whole microcontroller, and I know how to program already.
That's
like
cool.
The stuff he's explaining and everyone's like crying over, like an if statement, almost made the whole class like their brains almost exploded.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, if I tell you guys how to do an if statement, you're all gonna fail. And I'm like, that's the stuff you learn the second day of CS. But it's also a different language, so it's kind of weird. But
super weird. It's super strange. It's a weird language. It's like a do if or do while. Is that which one is it?
A do while will do the stuff in the brackets no matter what, and then only repeat if the thing is
so
true.
I assume you just initialize the variable in the do thing and then just put the while statement.
Well, you can have like a repeat variable outside and then change it in the do while, or you could have it in the do while and then change it.
Yeah.
Because a while loop will never start if the condition isn't true, or a do while will run at least once.
Okay.
So like if you want to take in input, you do a do while, and then only repeat it if they type in something that the program can't handle. So if I am like type in the letter A, it'll do that, and then on at the second part in the while part, I'd be like repeat while the input isn't A, and I keep repeating until they put in A. And then it would repeat.
That makes sense. Interesting concept on it.
It's good to like see between fields.
I'm glad he's teaching practical things opposed to just doing busy work, because busy work can easily be done in physics class. He can easily give us past AP work. So I'm kind of glad he's taking the time to use his old lessons
before he quits and moves to Asia. So yeah, changes in virtual brick and mortar. Oh yeah, so you went in like second wave of in-person people, right? Like,
so I went in twice. I went in once. I left because I have literally no people to talk to there. Then I went in a second time, more people to talk to, so I was able to have a better time there. Still right now, I'm kind of floating between. I'm literally floating between. I kid you not, 5 friend groups right now. It's stupid, but that's besides. I go to the IB
not
kids.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it's crazy. I go to the IB kids, MSC kids. Go to. Wherever I see people, I don't know.
You see, my whole thing is like I don't want to go back because I don't want to drive. Because back when like in junior year, I would fall asleep in the car while driving the car.
That's concerning.
That was bad.
Very concerning, actually.
And also, being at home lets me get to Taekwondo quicker, so I could volunteer earlier and help out more, and get homework done faster. Because I don't live close to the school at all. I live like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, that's
a long drive. Oh yeah, next up, college decisions. Because college applications were like in full swing when we did the last episode. Now, most of the schools have released, unless they feel special, like Carnegie Mellon, where they don't.
Well, I think most IVs are going to come out in April. I think
it's pretentious. I got stuff to do, Ivy League. Come on, hurry it up. Just reject me already. Come on.
I didn't apply that high. I think I applied the most high was UF.
I think the highest I applied to was Carnegie, but I was like, I don't expect to get in. The highest, like actual school, is probably like either Georgia Tech or UF. Georgia Tech hasn't released yet. I got into UF, but I'm not going to go.
Why not?
Yeah. Because the CS field is better at UCF.
I agree. 100%.
UF is better at everything else except for
Good for
CS.
CS. Yeah.
It's like the one. If I could directly hand my spot off, I would. But you can't do that. You just have to like return it to the lottery.
What's
So,
interesting is they actually don't have a wait list.
yeah, it's really weird. Like UF,
They actually
gets away
will
with too much
save. They will save the seats for transfers. Weird way to put it, but
it's a
interesting system.
when it's that competitive, they can kind of do whatever they want, which is really dumb. But yeah. So I know a lot of people got into FSU.
Yeah.
A lot of people got into UCF.
Where are you
FAU's
going right now? Where do you want to go?
I'm going to UCF. I already accepted enrollment there. I'm getting the housing in process.
I gotta do that too. I'm going to UCF as well. So,
because the problem with housing is like they're twisting me. They're twisting me really hard.
I've heard Hercules is a good place to room at.
Hercules is good, but Lake Claire is the pinnacle of UCF.
That's like the best place.
It's independent rooms and a full kitchen in the apartment.
But that's like
because at Hercules and Nike, there's a communal kitchen, and because of COVID, you cannot use it whenever you want. You got to make an appointment to go cook for yourself.
It's kind of stupid.
Now I'm getting a food plan, so I don't really care about the whole kitchen.
That's smart.
But I know a lot of people really care about having that kitchen and having like their own private rooms and having as minimal bathroom sharing as possible. It's 2 people to 1 bathroom. But what's also annoying is we're trying to room with an upper class. We're trying to room with Bryson. So we got 3 freshmen, and then I guess we'll be a sophomore next year. They really don't like freshmen living with non-freshmen.
Why?
Because like the theory is like, oh, they'll buy you alcohol when they're a junior and you're a sophomore. It doesn't matter. It's really dumb. I don't know. Like,
well, actually, on that point, regardless of whether they're gonna buy alcohol or not, freshmen are still gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
there's no
like if freshmen want to illegally consume alcohol, they're gonna illegally consume alcohol.
They're gonna do it, and if you prevent them
with the gamers,
if you prevent them, they'll only do it more.
So realistically, there's no valid reason for them to limit who freshmen can and can't room with, especially if it's a pre-formed group with people that we already know. Like, yeah, sure, don't throw in a freshman with a group of sophomores that they don't know.
That would make sense.
But it's 3 freshmen and 1 sophomore that we went to high school with. Like, come on now.
That makes sense.
And fall applications haven't opened for housing yet, which is also annoying because I'm trying to get right on that because it's like fills up like that for Lake Claire, and I really want Lake Claire. And also, the gym on campus is close to Hercules, which is also makes it a good backup spot because I want to spend more time working out in college, especially since like it's right there and not like a 20-minute drive.
Especially everything's in one circulated area too, so it's easier to do things.
What do you plan on majoring in at UCF?
Computer science.
Computer science as well?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Now, computer science or computer engineering?
Computer science.
Computer science. All right. Because a lot of people say they want to do computer engineering without knowing what computer engineering is, and they say they want to do computer science without knowing what computer science is. Because Nathan was like, I want to do computer engineering. I'm like, you know that involves physics, right? He's like, never mind. Because computer engineering involves software development, but you also have to do like the Arduino stuff where you're programming actual hardware to do what you want it to do.
Basically like MATLAB stuff.
And that would involve taking a lot of electrical physics, which isn't fun. I hate electrical physics.
This doesn't make sense.
Gauss's law is not poggers.
Shit, Mr. Laffer.
I'm looking at you, College Board. Take Gauss's law out of the curriculum. It's not poggers.
It's important, though.
I know it's important, but also it makes me sad.
It's one of the most important
like,
laws in
E&M
physics.
is so much harder than mechanics.
I wouldn't say it's harder. I wouldn't say it's harder. It just doesn't make sense.
Harder. It's harder because it involves more calculus.
Yeah.
And my calculus foundation is non-existent.
It's not good.
Because
just wait. No, take the drag differential and just apply it to everything else, and you're fine.
I hate it so much. Like, it's okay. Like, I'll pass the AP exam, I think.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
If I get a 4, I'm never taking physics in college. I don't have to. Unless I dual major.
You know what's unfortunate is I have to take the E&M courses. I got mechanics with the 4, but I didn't get E&M before, so I got 2 E&M.
Well, I mean, even if you did get the passing credit, you still have to take lab again because UCF stopped accepting lab credit. But you still got to take the lab.
Nice.
Because that's the pricey one. You got to buy all the lab stuff.
Interesting how it's that's besides the point. That's besides the point.
They changed their because I did all the stuff last year looking at
college is a business.
It is a business. Well, I mean, the new Bright Futures bill. I didn't have that on the list because I didn't find out about this
Woo,
2 days
boy,
ago.
that's a
But
conversation starter right there in
there
itself.
is some logic behind the idea that they want to take money from engineering students and move it towards more art-oriented students. And that's because if you get a computer science degree in Florida or an engineering degree, you're most likely not going to stay in Florida. If you get a computer science degree, you're almost guaranteed to move to Seattle, New York, San Francisco, San Diego, or Austin, Texas. None of which are even remotely close to Florida. Because those are the Silicon Valley, well, Silicon Valley is in California, but it's diversifying into other states and cities to where the tech jobs are centralized in those places, which are not Florida. So if the state legislature is going to give you money to get a degree that you won't put to use in Florida, and therefore they can't tax you on it, then there's no incentive for them to do that. Now, art degrees, since you can't get a job with one anyway, you're going to stay in Florida. Plus, they're also cheaper degrees to get because the professors pay less because they're just art people and not engineers. But that's a whole mail your local representative thing.
Oh, there's a lot with that argument.
Yeah,
I was basically just breaking the surface of it. Boy,
it's complicated.
yeah, very.
All right, next up is your COVID update. It sucks.
It's honestly when we tell you it hasn't changed a single bit, has not changed.
Like the vaccine's coming out, but is it really? I ain't got it yet. There's no microchip in my arm.
It's just like
because DeSantis said he was going to vaccinate first responders and teachers because he forced all the teachers to go back to work. And he's like, "Don't worry, we're going to vaccinate you."
Hasn't happened
and
yet.
Then he said, "Never mind. He's not vaccinating the teachers first. He's vaccinating the old people because they voted for him." And then first responders, like the police and firefighters, were supposed to get their vaccines first. And then they didn't. So they have to go out and interact with people when you're supposed to stay at home when their whole job is to go out of their home.
Deal with people.
And they're not getting vaccinated. But the old people that shouldn't leave their house anyway and are going to die soon anyway.
It's just illogical at this point.
Because my uncle got COVID on my birthday. 18th birthday. Ruined.
Very fair.
I was like, "Happy birthday. Your uncle's dying." He's in Louisiana working construction right now. And he's in the hospital. He's on the ventilator right now. So my mom actually flew up to go see him. But you can only visit them for 1 hour. So she's visiting for an hour and then staying up and then coming back. But it's bad. It's bad. He's a healthy guy. And it's bad. He's not good. Even if it doesn't kill you, like it still messes you up pretty bad.
Yeah,
but still,
it's nasty fire.
Where the mask's at? What the mask's doing? He wears a mask. Why did he still get it?
A lot of reasons.
Oh yeah, Texas is lifting their mask mandate. I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plans out. Because their population density isn't that high though, especially like rural Texas. Like they're not wearing masks anyway.
It's just a huge state.
And then like there's the Biden wants to ban any travel in and out of Florida because they're not following the mask mandate enough.
Yeah, Texas wants to remove.
I think Texas is going to secede again, honestly. I think it'll be pretty based. The exacerbation of sexual tensions.
That's a quote from a very...
I was going to put that on my essay. Now there's no essays. All right, what's that? Oh, yeah, speaking of politics, the election happens and the inauguration since the last episode.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens.
And then it's sort of simmered down since like January in terms of
holy crap, November. Oh my god, it was a war zone in Florida.
November was pretty bad because everyone was like angry.
Everyone was tense,
and then everyone else cheated.
Oh my
god,
god,
a bunch of accusations
and not even that,
dead people voting.
Trump literally like said he won.
He didn't.
That's weird.
Then again, everyone kind of does the same thing. Like Hillary Clinton said happy birthday to this future president and then lost pretty bad.
That's funny. Well,
So it's
no,
just a
but
whole. It's a confidence thing.
but like
Fighting
after it was decided,
Yeah.
he still said he won.
Well, because he planned on suing, and his lawsuits had minimal success in certain state courts, but never really achieved like the overturn he was hoping for.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Biden was inaugurated like I guess a month ago, a little over a month and a week, 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Ugh. Um, the government's still bad. I don't like it's not a partisan thing. The government's bad.
Especially now with the whole pandemic.
It's just a different color on the Middle Eastern bombing planes because nothing's gonna change. Like people think every president is gonna reinvent the nation, and then they don't because they can't.
They really can't.
Because
It's really hard to do.
the United States government is just 5 massive tech corporations wearing a trench coat.
Lobbying.
Tech's coming for you. I say as I'm using Chinese big tech.
Honestly, though, let's be real here. I think Zoom is like 1,000 times Google Meets.
I haven't really had that much experience with Zoom. All I know is Google Meet eats my bandwidth when I'm playing Call of Duty. Trying to get
That's another that is another example as to why online learning sucks.
But I'm still getting good grades though. That's the issue with the grading system.
Brian, that's because it's you. Hey,
that's also fair.
Okay, like there's kids who I know who literally don't do anything and fail and don't care, but there's people who like you who can do both at the same time.
You see, because there's in physics
you're a special case, Brian.
In physics C, there's the MSc juniors, and like some of them are real sweaty, and
what he means by sweaty is they will literally dedicate their entire life to
they apply themselves very much so to school.
No extracurriculars, it's just school.
And then myself, I sleep through every class. And our physics teacher criticizes me for my lackadaisical attitude towards his class, yet also admits I am outscoring most of the other students. It's just that easy.
Yeah.
Listen, I have this theory that your brain's absorption efficiency is at a peak when you're in that twilight zone between sleep and awake. I think that's when you're most susceptible to stimulus and information.
It's your most vulnerable.
If I was a psychology major, I would study on that. But I'm not.
Why not?
I just want to make video games.
Do a study separately.
The issue with the psychology field is that a lot of people get into psychology to figure out what's wrong with themselves, then end up going into a job trying to fix others afterwards. Because if you ever interact with like therapy professionals, a lot of them, like they're not like bad people. They're just like they have quirks that you could see have been worked on. Very social awkwardness, very could be described as like Asperger's or maybe like a lighter form of that. Speaking of Asperger's, I got a 32 on the Asperger's test. That means I'm highly autistic.
What does that mean?
It's a scale of 1 to 40. 32 is the cutoff for Asperger's syndrome. And I got a 32.
Let's just say you got a decent score on that test.
That explains my social skills. Oh, what else is there? Oh yeah, graduation is coming up.
Apparently it's going to be in person. Apparently
they say it's going to be in person, but they also said there was going to be IB exams.
Well, you gotta think, right? IB is a global organization.
I think graduation can happen in person. I
definitely think it could.
Especially since AP exams are happening in person.
Yeah, especially since AP exams are all in person.
I have high hopes for graduation. Actually, I don't have high hopes. I have optimistic hopes for graduation.
I'm in the middle.
I'm not expecting much.
Same here.
But
if it happens, that'd be amazing. If it doesn't, I expect
I'd like to walk across the stage. I'd like to
experience the American ritual.
The 17th of June.
Something like that.
June.
Speaking of 17th of June, the summer has been cut off because of COVID extensions.
It's like a 6-week summer instead of 8. Actually, shorter than 6. It's like 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's really.
They get a month off.
It's really short. They get a month off, dude. That sucks.
So we sign out earlier, so we get like a.
We're just like.
We sign out like the 2nd.
Yeah, we sign out early. Thank God. dude.
So we get a
Like,
normal summer instead of our usual like extra long summer between high school and college, but it's better than being out of school for 5 weeks and then starting a whole another school year.
thank God, dude. Imagine that. Imagine being out for 5 weeks. Like, right.
Oh
Just
yeah, UCF is also supposed to be resuming full in-person classes next fall.
I saw that. I'm kind of excited for that.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I've heard a lot of issues with the
There's
virtual college
so
learning.
many issues with
Apparently, like,
virtual
there's this bug with Zoom in the classroom where like it'll crash so bad. You need to have a virtual machine to run it on a new desktop because it won't run on your actual desktop anymore.
a virtual machine.
Virtual
Do
machine, yeah.
people even know how to do that?
It's Bryson's in CS, so he knows how to do it.
I thank God, but do other people know how to do that? I don't think so. It's really like you gotta know how to do it to do it.
Yeah, it's bad. And he has mixed classes. It's like half in person, half virtual, which could be interesting.
Ah,
Because also one thing that stops me from going back is I have the same teacher for 4 hours every other day, and then I have two of the same teachers every day.
that's fine.
So I have physics from 9 to 11 every single day. Then every other day I have CS for 4 hours. But it's only 30 minutes worth of content stretched out to 4 hours.
Yeah, that sucks.
And if I fall asleep, he kicks me out of the Google Meet and marks me absent. You know who you are. I'm looking at you. Cut it out. So yeah, graduation. Make it happen, please. Oh yeah, we did cap and gown photos today.
How was
Awful
that?
experience.
Awful,
My
why?
head is so big that the one cap they had didn't fit. Because the cap I ordered will fit because they measured my head for that one. But they only had one cap that everyone was going to use today. And it
Yeah.
didn't fit. So what I did was I held it in front of me. And there's no tassel. So it's a green square on a green robe. So basically this blends in. Like it's $85 just.
That is graduation for you.
I love school. What else we got?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're both 18 now. I think in our last episode you had just recently turned 18.
Yeah, now you join the
And
club.
then I turned 18 about a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm just a child that pays taxes now.
Same. Okay, dude. I have my tax form right here that I got to.
18 gives you so much less liberty than it used to in our parents' generation.
Dude, when you're 18 in our parents' generation, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Now, you still can't smoke. You still can't buy a firearm.
Well, I don't want to smoke when I'm 18.
I know. I'm not saying I want to do these things.
now.
I'm not saying I want to smoke, but it's the choice to smoke. It's the ability to. We're a land of the free, not the land of the right thing to do. It's the right to make mistakes. That's the most important right of all.
Well, you do learn the most when you make a mistake, so that's fair.
That's true. It's all learning experiences.
Yeah, that is.
And it just delays your real life learning. So yeah, you can't do a lot of things that you used to be able to do.
Yeah, but
And honestly,
that does happen.
they're like all like, oh, we should lower the voting age to 16, but I can't do anything till I'm 21. So you have a 5-year gap of people that don't know anything about the real world having major influence on decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot that.
Now the same argument can be made with very elderly people voting that for changes that won't even affect them because they'll have passed away by then. But there's a sweet spot in your life where you have a future to look out for and you have experience to know what's right for the world, or at least know what you think is right for the world.
Definitely.
When you're a child, you're either a clone of your parents, so they're effectively just getting 2 votes, or you're just doing what you're told by TV. There's a lot of young people that are just brainwashed into being so radical about their political beliefs without actually having an original thought on politics.
That is what pisses me off.
And it goes for both parties. Not just saying, oh, the TikTokers have radicalized the left. Like,
Both
they're
sides.
right-wing
It's
children.
both sides.
You watch Ben Shapiro and you're like, I am racist, but also I'm Jewish, so I'm a minority. It's for both sides, honestly. Just you're too susceptible to whatever you're told by people you look up to,
Scientifically
and you
proven.
can't be trusted to make an adequate decision on your own.
That's true.
Like I was very, very right leaning
Or
in middle school, but recently I'm still on the right side of the spectrum, but I'm more libertarian than anything else. I still believe in as little government control as possible. I believe in what's best for everybody is being able to do what you want to do. I don't want to tell you what God to believe in, what gender to like, what color you should or shouldn't be. I don't care. But I want to be able to make those same choices for myself
yeah.
without government intervention. It's a little off topic. It ties back to the political discussion. But I don't think any two-party candidate will ever satisfy the needs of the American people because they're either trying to control your bank account or your bedroom. And until we leave both of those alone, America will be a failure. Moving on. So yeah, IB exams were canceled, guys. We sort of mentioned that earlier, but this is a recent development. Even though I sort of had an inclination that they're going
Everyone
to
kind
cancel.
of knew, but then again, it's IB, so we have no idea until they make the final declaration.
Sure. They took their time.
And what sucks about that happening too is they're taking all of the work within our classes and using the tour score as well, which means that we cannot half stop. So, like for example, in English class, we still have to do our paper one. In Spanish, not sure we're still doing work, but we are. Physics, we're still doing our IA now, so it's fine. It makes sense. Math class, that's just college math, fun parties time. But it's confusing as to why we're still doing coursework. I just wish it was more practical, if that makes sense.
Uh,
In the
well,
field.
a lot of people were planning on compensating for their lackluster IAs or lackluster schoolwork with the exam at the end of the year. This happened to a classmate of ours last year. She didn't do too well in the math IA, and her teacher was like, "Whatever, you'll fix it with the exam." The exam never happened. She gets a lower score than she deserved. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to like expose anybody for lower grades or whatever. But I think Max and I both know who this is because it's a person we both talk to regularly. But this can go for this year too. If I was slacking all year, senioritis kicks in. I don't want to work too hard. I'm just thinking to myself, I'll try really hard before the IB exams. And the IB exams are canceled, and my IA isn't that good.
Gone.
Over. No diploma. Now I've written some solid IAs. My math IA, it got a 5. It's fine. History IA, I felt good about it. Physics IA, rough drafts doing a week, haven't started. But that's not the point. The point is, my HL paper was really good. My teacher has tried to recruit me to assist upcoming juniors in their HL paper writing process, and I have denied because I hate children.
Fair
But
point.
also,
I can agree with that.
the main issue is like I know how to write. Like I have a sort of instinct when it comes to writing that like I just know what to say and how to make it sound good from my exposure to literature and other writings and my long time of like reading and taking vigorous English classes. But I can't convey that information very
You
well.
know, but you can't teach. Okay.
I know what I know. My hand can do the motions, but I can't make your hand do the motions that you need to do.
Yeah, that
Because
makes sense.
it's really not fair for me to try to teach you how to write a paper about a personal interpretation of something. If my interpretation of the lyrics to a Bob Dylan song aren't the same as your interpretation of a play written by some dude in Norway, then there's not much I can do for you other than correcting your spelling and grammar. But that's my interpretation of the whole
Yeah.
uh, mentorship as a upperclassman sort of thing. Because like I teach Taekwondo to children ranging from ages like 4 to actually I help adults too. It's like 4 and up, pretty much any age group. I teach Taekwondo too. And that's not a hard thing to teach. Like sometimes you get the kids that don't understand all the words you're saying because they're very young or come from a home where English isn't the primary language. I have a lot of kids that only speak Spanish, and so you have to do a lot more emotive actions when you're
Comes
teaching.
in clutch, right?
Yeah. So that's easy. Like if their kick is wrong, I can correct where they put their knee and how they extend the leg. If their stance is wrong, I can correct where they put their foot, where their hand is going as they do the movement. But it's not the same as teaching you how to think critically. That's not a process I can do in a 1 hour tutoring session. That's something you've had to have been working on your entire conscious.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't like it's the whole thing with like you can be a programmer in 8 weeks, but you can't be a computer scientist unless you've spent your entire life working on that. Because there's just a way of thinking that cannot be altered that
Yeah,
immediately.
more efficient, creative programs that you can't just get that in 8 weeks.
Like I can give you a hammer right now, but if you don't know how to use that hammer, then technically yes, you have tools, but the tools are more useless than your bare hands. Oh, what else do we have?
You gotta learn the skill.
Yeah, you have to learn, and I can't teach that
Consciously, not just like learn. You have to consciously learn.
It's
That's
like
hard
when
to do.
People try to compensate for 12 years of slacking off with one hard year of senior work. Like, oh, colleges are looking at me now. I gotta try. That you've had to have been trying since day one.
They look at everything.
You've been coasting, and now you're trying to run to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like you've never trained before. Anyway, final exam / AP exams is the last topic I want to hit today, because final exams are the only thing keeping people in class now.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they use
classes.
absences.
5 absences, you got to take the final.
I think it's different for 5th hour though.
5th hour is 10.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you miss 5 classes of a normal class or 10 classes of your everyday class, you have to take a final. And I don't want to take a final.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything. I haven't learned anything this year. I've memorized things, but applying things that I've learned, it's not going to happen. So I'm literally just there for attendance. My grades aren't that important as long as it's above a 3.5. College is paid for. I don't care. 3.5 weighted too. I have 2 points. I have 2 GPA points I can drop and still be fine. So really, I don't need to care about.
Don't think with that mentality, but you're right.
I'm right. Now, I'm not saying that's how you should justify your actions.
You're good. You're chilling, but
I'm not wrong.
Don't drop too cheap. No, don't do that.
It's just don't run the marathon if you can briskly walk. But I'm not saying stop either. But yeah, finals would just be terrible. And AP exams, I only have 2 AP exams to worry about: AP Physics C, E&M Mechanics, or whatever. And that's the only thing I need to work on. That's the one class I'm struggling with. Of course,
you'll be able to
if I can just pull a 4.
Yeah,
I'm done with.
That's definitely if you studied a month before for that exam, you will be fine.
I bought the review book.
You'll be fine.
Those don't help.
Those don't help. They help. They help with spots, but they don't help with the entire course.
So I have the notes. I understand most mechanics. Mechanics isn't.
It's basically just physics 1 on repeat.
Yeah,
but
E&M has a lot of physics 2 concepts.
Yeah,
and then some. And it's the and then some that I'm just not grasping. A lot of people aren't grasping.
It's just difficult. It's just difficult.
It's complex ideas, and the College Board has to understand the situation students are put under, or else their pass rates are going to plummet. And they care too much about people giving them money, so they need to show that the system works. And people are arguing that COVID could prove the end of standardized college testings as a whole because of how terrible it exemplifies your understanding of the knowledge you presented. So if I took the AP exam right now, it wouldn't show the effort I've put in, the learning I've done, the notes I have taken. It just shows if I can answer those 4 questions. And with this out of the ordinary year, maybe I haven't had time to focus on those 4 questions. Maybe I've been focused on other things. Maybe I've focused on the real world and how it's falling apart around us. But no, I need to do Gauss's law.
Get that 5, right?
Anyway, that's all the topics I had for today. It's been real Corona Cast crew.
Let's just say that this episode is a little more real than the other ones.
This episode, I'm very tired. I took a nap, but baby's cranky and can't think of funny jokes to say today.
So
it's been a long day. I'm very sad. Spanish roll did not treat me well.
Just play some COD, it'll be fine.
I'm gonna play some Call of Duty. I unlocked the sword today. Got more stuff to do. I haven't had fun in years. Keep those masks on.
Yeah.
And wash those hands.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see.